Our mind has three file cabinets. One is the past, one is the present, one is the future. And the problem is your mind keeps shoving stuff from the past into the future. So what we need to learn how to do is be in the present moment and release our prejudices, as we did in the atonement section. And then this is a whole other set of tools, somatic tools, so that you can just be in the present moment today. Now, your mind does drag you into the past and drag you into the future. And as I say on my first DVD, depression relates to thoughts about the past and anxiety relates to thoughts about the future. The past no longer exists. It's dead and gone. Clap last Thursday. The future doesn't yet exist. So how can depression and anxiety exist? So there's no off switch for your mind, right? You can't just say, stop thinking. It doesn't work like that. And you can't tell the mind what not to think. If I say don't think of a purple elephant, your mind has to put it in to take it out. If I say don't think of that terrible car accident, your mind has to put it in. If I could tell you what not to think, then every psychotherapist would be out of business, right? So this is analogous to meditation, because what we need to do is learn how to release the thinking apparatus, which is very difficult because we're kind of all addicted to that. We're all on autopilot, and we want to get some fresh insights into the defense mechanisms that we built to survive our childhoods and make some tweaks so we could show up more vulnerably and more authentically to inspire our partners to show up in more loving ways also. So meditation and yoga were devised and designed to help us transcend our thoughts and go to the other side of this whole mishigas in our heads and reboot our hard drives. That's why I like to practice in the morning and get a fresh start for the day. To be, after a Shavasana corpse pose, to be in a fetal position and be reborn, metaphorically, to start my day fresh and leave the prejudices from yesterday behind. But if I just say meditate or sneeze or sleep, right? It doesn't work like that, So I have to trick you into meditating, because again, you are addicted to your sense of self. You're addicted to all the craziness in your head, and I'm trying to get you to release it. So the way I like to teach this is through optical illusions, and my favorite one to explain meditation is this one. So what do you see? Well, hopefully, if you can point your awareness going that way, you see a rabbit, and then you can point your awareness going that way and you see a duck, right? Now, F. Scott Fitzgerald said, the test of first-rate intelligence is our ability to retain opposite thoughts in the mind at the same time and retain the ability to function. So maybe you think you can see both at the same time. Maybe you know soft focus, but what I'm going to argue is that you can make them flicker. So this is the problem, I think, of the prefrontal cortex. It thinks in binaries. It thinks black, white, tall, short, good, bad. And it's essentially an either-or mechanism, right? If you think about it. And the world isn't like that. The world isn't like either-or. The world is and. So that's why using these optical illusions to explain meditation is so important. What do you see here? You see the two profiles and the vase, right? What do you see here? The chess pieces and the monks. So this is my favorite one. This is so damn funny. I was in a large class once, and there was one person in the room who couldn't see the young woman. And so you see the old woman, her chin just going for the angle. You see the old woman, and then the young woman is facing that way, and that's her nose. Hopefully, I mean, you can see both. But there was one person, and the most interesting thing is that um, once you do see both images, you can't unsee either, which is really interesting. And then you can make some choices, like I can see the old woman, or I can focus my awareness and see the young woman. And it's really beautiful if, as happened, someone can't see, like let's say the young woman for 10, 15 minutes, and then they see it, and they're like, oh! And it's like watching popcorn pop into popcorn. It's so funny, right? So this is how I explain meditation. Um, I can't tell you to shut off your mind. I can't tell you to not see the duck because then you have to look at it to then, But what I can do is gently guide your attention to something else. And that's how we trick the mind into releasing the thinking apparatus. So for this one, we're just going to gently maintain our attention on our breaths. And I like to reframe this and give you a new paradigm to think of. So, when Polonius is reading Hamlet's letter to the king and queen to try to adduce his madness, he reads the letter that Hamlet wrote to Ophelia, and it's signed, "While this machine is to him, I am forever yours, Lord Hamlet." While this machine is to him. So what kind of universe would you have to live in to sign your letters while this machine is to him? Well, you'd have to believe that you were essentially a soul, going through eternity, and you were borrowing this machine that I call Ira, that machine that he calls Hamlet for these 83 years. And that's an interesting way to reframe your meditation. And the other way I like to do it is, we have this scientific paradigm, like we all know we have lungs in here, and we have a nose up here, and we have an esophagus, and we're breathing in and breathing out. We can feel this whole thing. But why don't you invert that, right? Why don't you think that the universe is breathing through you? And that you are just a drop of water in the ocean. And, the ocean's just this thing happening.